All right, so I'm zooming in. This one, you can see the lighting is all the same. You can always make those minor adjustments when you're editing. Highlighting them.
That's the killer right there.
I've been bit in the ankles a couple times. Hey guys, Jordan here. Today we're gonna be doing professional photos on a Four-Plex, which is actually something you probably don't get requested too frequently. A Four-Plex is a single building with multiple units. A Four-Plex, of course, having four units on it. So these are very common for investors if you work a lot with investors or other real estate rental companies. So anyways, let's go ahead and get the properties ready to shoot. All right, so all I've done so far is unlock the units. I haven't gone through and staged or done anything. So this is gonna be some real hands-on experience of what you can expect when you go out and shoot properties. You're gonna run into all different kinds of things. These particular units look like they've been remodeled, so there might be some things that we need to move around here or there, but let's go ahead and get started with the first unit. So they are unlocked. So first off, I just go through and make sure all the lights are on if possible. This one is on a remote, which sometimes these can be pretty tedious. There we go, we got the light turned on. And the blinds are already open in here, which is great. And I see this pile of paint cans. So either I'm gonna be moving these into the garage if there is a garage in this unit, or we could work on shooting angles. It's actually in a good spot if you wanted to leave them there and not mess around with what they have going on, because you can take an image just a little bit closer in and kind of avoid that. But when you start to shoot back this way, it's clearly gonna be in the shots. Unless you're right here, you kind of gotta be a little strategic on your angles. But the best case scenario is to move those out of the way. So as I go through here, just checking, nothing, I guess that doesn't close all the way. So I'm gonna be turning on all the lights. There we go. Now these lights aren't on right here. All right, so that looks good. Let's wander down the hallway. These hallway lights are on. And another one of these remotes. Oh, actually it is on. Fan is off, which is good. Now these closet doors, I like to set them up either fully closed. There's nothing too interesting about these, so I'm just gonna close it. All right. That's the fan, that's the light switch. All right, that looks good. All right, and this one, the fan is on, so let's see if we can get it to turn off. Sometimes these fans are tricky to turn off. I wonder if because there's actually not an off switch. I wonder if I can just hit it off. All right, it looks like it's closing. All right, or turning off, sorry. So I'm just gonna be consistent throughout this house. I'm just gonna leave the closets closed. Sometimes I'll have it halfway open if I feel it looks better. But here we go. Lights on. And all right, so we have a hose here in the backyard. I'm not gonna curl it all the way up. I'm just gonna put it in this pile over here. I don't want to get too dirty. I didn't want it stringed out across. Usually if you have hoses that are stringed all across, it just looks bad. But if I know I'm gonna get a shot over here looking back at the unit, as long as it's over there in the corner, I think we should be good there. All right, so this one is pretty good to go. There actually isn't a garage, so I'm not gonna move these paint cans. Garages is a great spot for them. You could also put them in a closet, but we're gonna leave them there and shoot this unit with them there so that you guys know how to kind of get your angles to where you're not highlighting them. Oh, you're all right. Is this your pet? Nice, nice. All right, so we prepped the first unit. Now we're just gonna do the second, third, and fourth. Real quick, it's Gonna be the same process pretty much. Hopefully in similar layouts. Yeah, it looks like it. All right. Got the light turned on. This one seems pretty dark. Actually, they added all these can lights, so this is gonna help a lot with the photos. Not looking so dark. All right, so turning on the lights. I think all of these just have porches. Yeah. All right, so just walking through. There's a little stopper, I'm gonna put that in. And just looking for anything else that's out of place. Turn that on, the light's already on. This unit, I'll leave it consistent throughout the whole video. We'll do them closed. All right, now this one isn't quite complete. They're still working on the plumbing. I'm not gonna focus on it too much. You can kind of see that it's missing some fixtures. So we just won't focus on that too much. Obviously, having a lack of fixtures isn't necessarily a selling point. All right, so we got the lights on. All right, blinds are all open. Let's move on to the next unit. All right, let's move on to unit number 3. Hopefully these lights work. I guess it doesn't work. Let me try it another way. I mean, if the light doesn't turn on, there's nothing we can do about it. Let me see if I can get any power coming on. Yeah, it doesn't look like the fan is working at all. All right, so this light doesn't work. We're just gonna have to deal with it. And the kitchen lights, I'm just gonna hide that in the sink. Here we have a can of paint here in the kitchen. What I'm gonna do is just put this under the sink, in the cabinet. And I like how the lighting is consistent in this unit. The last unit, I noticed that in the laundry room they had like a fluorescent bulb, which is, oh, actually this did turn on eventually. So let's see if it works now. Looks like the light doesn't work. All right. And it looks like I guess they did touch-up paint. Where is it wet? You can see they have different colored sheens of paint, which sometimes can show up in the photos, but usually not. All right. All right, so this unit looks like it is pretty much ready to go. Actually, I did miss one thing here in the kitchen. Looks like there's a phone charger cord. It'll look a little odd in the photo, so what I'm gonna do is just leave it unplugged for now and just remember to plug it back in once we're done with the photos. All right, so let's move on to the 4th and final unit before we get started with the photos. Now on this one, there's some garbage cans on the side. And what I'll probably do is just move them a little bit further back, because I think they're gonna show up in the front photos, which I don't like to see trash like this in the front shots. So I'm just gonna scoot them back. I think that should be out of the way enough to where they don't show up. If they do, we can move them back. But I'm just kind of looking at this angle right here. If I get a straight on shot, I can still see it a little bit. Actually, I'm just gonna move the styrofoam over, and I think we should be good to go there. All right. Let's see if this light works. Not having any luck on these last two units with the lights and the fans. All right. All right, we have a bucket right here. Let's move it. Actually, it's missing a dishwasher right here. So I'm just gonna put it right there. It shouldn't show up in any of the pictures. And let's turn the light on. Oh, that's the back porch light. All right, there we go. I'll leave that one off. Make sure I don't miss anything here in the kitchen. All right, this looks good. There's a cable right here. I'm just gonna hide it a little bit. Right there. All right. All right, turn that off. Shut the closet. Right here, let's put the toilet seat down. This one's also missing a fixture. The fixture is sitting right here. You can't really fake it, so just leave it as is. And sometimes in these little closets in the hallway, I know the laundry room is out by the kitchen, but sometimes in units like this, you'll want to check closets because sometimes the laundry room's hidden. And most real estate agents want to showcase that there's indoor laundry. All right. All right. So it looks like we're good to go in this unit. That's cozy. All right. So now that we've prepped all the units, now we're going to start shooting. All right, guys. So now that our property is set up, ready to go, first thing I like to take a look at is just look around at the property. Try to find good angles that are going to showcase the property in its best light. Right now we have the owner coming in and out of the units right now. But what I do like about this particular unit is that it does have a parking space. Now you can actually showcase things around this particular property. Like over here you have a lot of cars. Yeah, I have a lot of cars over here. And if you look at this way across the street, you'll see that there's a lot of stuff going on. Trash cans, trailers. So all the angles shooting this direction, you're gonna wanna avoid all this extra noise. And you wanna focus on the unit itself and the amenities and the selling features of it. All right, so I'm gonna start right here in the parking lot. So first I'm gonna get some shots of the entire unit, and then we're gonna break down 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so let's go ahead. So what I'm doing right now is I'm zooming in. Actually, let me hit record here. All right, so I'm zooming in, avoiding the cars in the parking lot, and there we go. All right, so we got that shot. So I'll get a kind of a wider shot. This is a better shot right here where you can see the units a little better, more focused on the building and not on the parking lot. But I did want to showcase a picture with the parking lot. All right. All right, so I got that wider shot that showcased the full building and then also the parking lot as well. Now, we can't really showcase everything. We can't get a full view from the front shot since this unit is so wide. So we do our best from the angles that we can. Obviously, we're not going to come over here because these are units that people are actually occupying in right now. So I'm going to just trim off to the side here, just get the units and kind of get the walkway as well. And that's that. So now I'm going to be moving down. I might stop in the middle and just get as wide of a shot as I can, so we know 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see how wide we can get here. It's not wide at all, so it's not even worth trying to get a center shot. All right, now I clearly have those trash cans right there. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of cut it off right here. So just get this wall. I don't like to just trim barely. I like to just show, like I'm showing this way, where I'm on purpose. All right. For some reason it wasn't wanting to trigger. All right, now I will get a side shot of the yard, but what I'm gonna do is just go a little bit beyond these trash cans to where they're out of the frame. I don't know why it's doing that. All right. And I can tell it is a little challenging for me just to do the compositions in this screen, so I will definitely have a little bit of work to do in post-production. But like I said in the training portion of this, you don't have to be exact, you know, with your angles. You just have to be pretty good. You can always make those minor adjustments when you're editing the photos. All right, so now I'm focusing on the first unit. I like to get a straight on shot. However, in this particular case, there's a vehicle that's showing up right on the side of the unit. I'm gonna get this angle as well, but I wanna get another one as well that doesn't show that. All right. And I usually always like to show the door. Now there's a pillar right there that's kind of difficult. So let me see. This actually doesn't look too bad right here. All right. And then I'll just get a close-up shot of the door right here. And in these tight quarters, you'll see my videographer, Farai. He'll be in some of the shots, but obviously this is for training purposes. All right. So like I said initially, there are going to be times where you have things in corners of rooms that you're not going to be able to move. So in the first 2 units, I didn't move the paint cans. So we're going to see what we can do about getting angles that don't show these particular paint cans. Now, usually right when I get into the entryway of the home, I like to get a straight on shot. Now in this case, the straight on shot is just a wall right here. If this were open, it would have been a good shot right here, but the first shot right here is gonna be good. It's just gonna be angled in on the other side of the wall, making sure not to showcase those paint cans. And now I'm lowering the camera a little bit. The ceilings in this unit aren't particularly high, and I usually like to show a little bit more floor than the ceiling, so the camera's gonna be less than center. All right, so that actually looks pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna move to this corner now. And then So this is kind of the end of one space, right? So we have this little living space, even though there's no furniture. If there were furniture, this would be a space on its own. And you can see, I can see that those paint cans are in the way. I can zoom in a little bit, get those out. And actually it doesn't look too bad. So I'm just gonna leave those paint cans there. Now, if, you know, I actually do like, I think I like the straight-on shot in this particular room as well. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and hide the paint cans. Now, what I'm going to do is look for a good spot. As you saw, actually, the dishwashers are not installed in any of these units yet, I don't believe. So what I'm going to do is quickly just move these. Now, sometimes you're not going to have the option, you're just going to have to work with it, because sometimes they're not paint cans, it's going to be something that's really hard to move. But it really only takes a couple minutes, and it will really make a big difference on the quality of the photos. All right, so now that all the paint cans have been moved, now I can get my straight-on shot. I think it makes the room look the best with this straight-on shot here in this particular unit. All right. So now this is kind of, I guess you would, this is where like the kitchen table would be. It's so small that it's not necessarily worth photographing a space that's really that small. But what I am going to do is get a nice shot. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to get a straight-on shot. That should be somewhere pretty close. All right, let's move in on the kitchen. Now I left this cord up on the top because I wasn't sure if it would showcase too much on the photos, and you can't really see it from where we were taking the shot. And then when we were closer in the kitchen, that shouldn't actually be in the frame. But you can see this particular fridge sticks out quite a bit. It's a big fridge, and it kind of obstructs the view. So we just kind of have to work with it. Obviously, if I do a straight shot right here, it's going to be just a big gray refrigerator. So you want to kind of pick angles. And typically, I don't like to showcase the bottom side of cabinets too much. All right, I'm just going to work with this one. All right. I'm going on a straight in shot. So once we pass this, now I'll be able to showcase what was on the other side of the refrigerator. And then I also like to, once we have features, I like to turn into them as well. So we can see. And then this side as well. Now I know I can see the bottom of the cabinets, but if I pull it higher like that, it actually doesn't look too bad. Sometimes it'll look too distant, the countertop. So I'm going to take this shot as well, and then we'll have another option in the editing process. All right. Now before I move into the laundry room, I'm going to get some shots moving that way, so I'll let before I get behind me. And I'm just going to lower the camera. Maybe raise it up a little bit so that the under the cabinets. And as you can see in this shot, the kitchen sink does look a little bit skewed, so I'm going to scoot it back a little bit so it's not in the corners of my shots. When you have features in corners, it'll have a tendency to stretch them out. So still looks a little bit stretched. Let me see if I lower it. If I lower it, it does look less distorted. So I'm going to do that. I'd rather show a little bit underneath the cabinets and have a stretched out, distorted sink. All right. And then I'm going to do one more shot of each side here. All right. Now, if they had a super high-end appliances, you can get some straight-on shots. These ones are pretty much run-of-the-mill, but they are brand new, so I'm going to go ahead and take a shot of this. I'm going to put it on a 2-second timer so I can get out of the way. A lot of times you'll show up in the reflections of like microwaves and ovens. So let's do 2 seconds. Let's get out of the frame. All right, now we're going to shoot the laundry room. And usually we're not shooting too much in the laundry room. Just a nice angle that shows those. And since they are listing this for sale, that is a new water heater. So I'm going to get a shot that also showcases the water heater. So it's going to be a straight on shot that shows the water heater. And now, right now, I could shoot the back porch. If you think you might forget, you probably should shoot it right now. You can always rearrange it. But what I'm going to do is just finish the inside of the house, and then I'm going to shoot the back porch. All right. Now this house has a really small pantry. I guess you would call it a small pantry. I'm thinking about getting a picture of it depending on what I have gotten already. So I'm going to review my kitchen shots. When I was wide, I didn't really show any storage. So before I move on, I'm going to get a shot with the pantry open just to show, hey, there's storage for food on the inside of the home. All right. Now should we get a shot of the hallway? Usually we don't focus too much on hallways. There's nothing special about this hallway. So what I'm going to do is just start on the right side and kind of work my way around. So I'm going to start on this particular room. All right, let's shoot corner shots. Now I'm going to come in here and then I'm going to shoot the opposite direction. You can also get a straight on shot in here, shooting this way. This is also a shot that looks pretty good. So I might as well get it as well. It's probably overkill. All right, let's move on to this bathroom. Now I usually just like to peek the camera in just a little bit so it doesn't show up in the mirror. Luckily in this particular bathroom the mirror doesn't go all the way around. And I'm looking at the camera height. It actually looks pretty good. I don't see anything distorted. Maybe it could come up a little bit to show a little bit of the fixture right there. It's got a new fixture, so. All right, that's good. And then if you're only getting a single angle on anything, you always want to double check and look and just make sure, all right, it's in focus. You want to make sure, because last thing you want to do is have to come back to this property because you only shot one angle of the bathroom and it was blurry. All right, so here in the shower, this one's kind of tricky with this door in the way. And it's hard to, so you got to kind of scoot back as far as possible. I always try to show the the shower spigot. Is it a spigot? I don't know. The shower head, I guess you would call it. The shower head in the shots. I got the door here. So I'm going to close it because it's casting it, or I'll leave it right here because it was casting a shadow. Shoot the bathroom. All right, we're moving on. All right. So this one I'm just going to start in this corner right here. And usually in most bedrooms, I'm usually getting one angle, shooting these two walls, and then I'll pick the opposite angle, and then I'll shoot it this way. You'll have to be kind of picky sometimes, because when they're furnished, sometimes there's stuff in the corner or some furniture, so you have to kind of pick your angles accordingly. All right, and then I'll double check this. That's just a regular hallway closet. All right, so I know that I got all these rooms. Now we're gonna do the back porch area, and that's gonna be it for this unit. All right, so we do have this hose over here. So in an angle coming this way, we wanna avoid it. And then we'll also shut the door. Thank you, Fry. And just be cognizant of shadows. I can see myself, you see myself right here. I'm in the shadow of the shot, so I want to make sure that I move out of the way. Do the 2-second timer. All right, that's good. I'm going to do the opposite angle. Now that hose that isn't coiled up exact or perfectly, it's not going to distract from the image because it's so far in the distance that it's going to be so small, nobody's going to really focus on that. All right. All right. And that is it for this unit. All right, guys, so we're finished with unit number 1. We're going to move on to unit number 2. We're going to shoot all the units before we shut it all down. All right, so first things first, we're going to do the front shot. Now keep in mind, I'm not able to use my small display, which I usually like to use. I'm using this display down here so I can record it for you guys, so they may or may not be as accurate as I'd like, but you know, this is how we do this training. So let me find my remote. Found it. All right, we're doing the front shot. There we go. So front shot. Let me do a side shot. You know, just kind of like the front of a house, you know. Sometimes I'll treat these units kind of as a house. I always like to do the center shot, left, right. Make sure that I'm out of the reflections in the windows here. All right. Then get a door shot close up. All right, let's move on inside. I'm gonna move a little faster in this unit than the first one. All right, this is another one with these, but actually, since I did like the centered shot, shooting backwards shot the best, having them in that spot might not be so bad. So let's see. So like I said, so when we first get into the house, I'm gonna angle it. I'm obviously gonna angle those out of the way. And this is one where I'm showing you the different color lights. You see how the fluorescent bulbs look blue back there? Actually, it's pretty noticeable with the eye as well. Sometimes you can't tell so much, but in camera, it looks bad. That's why I usually always recommend that the agents all have the same white balance or the same color temperature bulbs in their listings. I think it really makes a big difference. All right, now I'm gonna also get this corner shot of the front and zoom in just a hair. Now I get those paint cans. All right, now I'm gonna go straight in here. Do I want another shot right here? No, I don't think so. All right, now I'm gonna be aware of the pantry shot that I wanted to, that I almost didn't see in the first one. So straightening that up. As you can see, I'm just focused on this line right here in the shot. So it's pretty straight. Now if I go higher, you know, I think it looks better a little lower, even though you're seeing a little bit of the under the cabinet. And you can also tell that the white balance in the camera looks a little more yellow here, and that's because it's trying to balance the fluorescent with the tungsten colored bulbs. You can change your white balance manually, but I usually will just leave it set to auto white balance. Since we're shooting raw, we know that we can always make those adjustments in the editing process. Now those under cabinets are kind of ugly, so I'll raise it up just a little bit. Or it would be lower where you're just, I mean, either, let me see. So if it goes all the way up, the bottom cabinets look really small. If you go kind of low, you can see better, and then the uppers. So you kind of just want to find a good medium. I think the first shot was about right. This one right here is probably a good height for this shot. All right, so we'll get a straight on shot in the kitchen. Now do the right. And then I'll do a straight on these new appliances. I'll do a 2-second timer so I can get out of the way of the reflection. And now we'll do the laundry room. So I'll do a straight shot that shows both the new water heater and the washer and dryer. And then since these are new, I'll also get a shot showcasing both the washer and dryer as well. So that potential buyer can see that that is a brand new washer and dryer. All right, so now we'll go down the hallway. The layout is essentially the exact same as the other one. I think I'll just stay in the same flow. I'll go here. Just do the corner over here, shooting that opposite corner, and I'm going to go from this corner and shoot the other corner. And like I said, you could also get a straight on shot in here if we wanted to, which I think it looks pretty good. So I'll get a straight on shot. All right, let's move on to the bathroom here. Now I'll raise it up a little bit so we can get a little bit more of the fixture up top, which is new as well. Usually we don't get a shot that's focused on the toilet. Now this is the one that's missing the fixture, so yeah, it doesn't have any of them, so You don't have to worry about trying to get the shower head in the picture. Now I'm just looking at shadows. So I'm close the door a little bit, and then I'm gonna duck down. All right, got the shadows out of the shot. All right, now the last room here. Just gonna start in the corner here. So shooting these two walls, and then I'll do the opposite. Just try to center up that fan. All right, so we got everything minus the porch. So now we're gonna quickly get a couple shots of the porch. Move on to 3 and 4 after that. So here, let me see, there's really nothing. I guess this is a decent shot. We can show the back door. Just kind of show this area right here. Now I could either choose this corner or that corner. You know, maybe I do both. Usually I'll go in order. I kind of jumped around here. And then watching out for shadows. Here you'll have to come down a little bit. Nice looking sky today. All right. So I think that's it for unit number 2. We'll worry about closing it all up once we're finished. So we'll move on to unit 3. Now we were able to successfully shoot it with the paint cans right there. So depending on what obstacle is in your shot, you may or may not be able to get away with having them in the middle of the room. All right, so let's move on to unit 3. All right, so here I'm gonna start with the straight on shot, just the unit. And also doing it in this order will help the agent know which unit is which. If I would have shot all the front shots first, it would have been hard to distinguish which one is unit 1, which one is unit 2, which one is unit 3. Let's see. Got kind of a lens flare here. And I noticed that this particular shot is a little bit dark. I think because I have my metering mode on entire screen and the sun's blaring up there, it's like entire screen average. So depending on what you're shooting, a lot of times multi will be fine. So I'll just switch it to multi. I'm always experimenting with different camera settings to see what makes life easiest. Feel free to do the same thing. Right here we have a pillar in the way. Let me see if I move in a little close. Yeah, then you don't see the door, so I guess we're just gonna have to live with that pillar in the shot. I'm gonna need a new remote because this thing is not shuttering right. All right. Now this is one. The light was not working. Oh, actually it's working now. So awesome. So first off, we'll get a shot from within the door. Now, do I want to get a shot here? I guess this is a good shot. I'm going to do that center shot here, looking back this way. All right, now we're working. It's like deja vu in another unit. Which makes it easy from a composition standpoint. You don't have to think too much. Now this one, you can see the lighting is all the same, so it looks like the pictures look a lot better. You don't see big blue cast in the background. These really confined spaces, you're pretty much full wide. So like I said previously, we like to spend a little extra time in the kitchen since it's one of the biggest selling features of a home. 2-second timer, get out of the way. Whoops. All right, now I'm gonna shoot one shot coming this way. All right, now we're gonna do the laundry room. We'll do the same thing. A straight on shot showing the new water heater. And then the laundry, or the washer and dryer. All right, now let's move down the hallway. We'll just start over here and work our way around. In the corner, shooting the opposite corner. Now, definitely some of those paint spots are showing up, but there's nothing really that we can do about it. Here, scoot back a little bit. I got the, there we go. Watching out for shadows. Guess I'll do a straight on shot. All right, now let's do the bathroom. Raise it a bit for the, see the fixture a little more. Whoops. Now watching out for shadows and trying to get the shower head so pretty much as far back as I can. It is still not even in there. That shower head is super high up on that wall. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it. Yeah, we just don't have enough. I think it actually might be in it just a little bit. Yeah, it is. All right. It looks a little odd with it just a little crack, so I'll make sure to close it all the way or have it all the way open. straight on shot here. I think the straight on shot looks better in this room than that bigger, wider bedroom. All right, that's it. Now we're going to the back. All right, let's see. Yeah, I guess we'll do this corner. Showing the door and the space. Make sure that I'm not in it. I'm gonna do it in order this time. Just move from one to the next. Here, you can come over here. All right, in the last corner here. Sometimes when there's a lot of sun, it doesn't pick up on the remote. All right. 3 down, 1 to go. All right, so done with unit 3. Now we're moving on to the last but not least, unit number 4. So start off with that front shot. Making sure that those trash cans aren't in. I'm just going to use my camera shutter. It's going to be a little bit faster. And actually, yeah, I turned off the, by default on these Sonys, it has a 2-second timer for bracketed photos. I turn it off for my remote. But even here, like even using it handheld, you just have to be pretty careful. If you move your camera, you know, you may have to do an alignment on your exposures when you're blending it. But this unit I'll shoot all with the handheld shutter button. Oh, you're right. Good thing I got somebody with me. All right, so we'll get this front door shot. All right, moving in. This light didn't turn on either, so we'll see if we got it working now. There we go. It's on now. Let me see, do I want this corner? I can kind of do different corners in this one. So this actually looks fine. Now I typically do not recommend a handheld shutter button. If you do, you should probably have it set to 2-second so that you hit it, you let your hand go, the camera stabilizes. But if it shutters fast enough, you typically won't have any issues. So you can experiment with all the different ways that you want to shoot and figure out what works best for you. That's a little high for my liking. Probably a little lower. We got the countertop, and I'm close enough to where I'm not showing the side of the refrigerator. All right, we'll get a side shot here. Go to the center. Right. All right. Yeah, I like to finish rooms before moving on to the next one. Sometimes it will. All right, this is throwing me off with this monitor here. All right, under them. All right, moving on to the rooms. Yeah. Tie my shoe real quick. Looking out for shadows here. Now you can see that using the trigger or the 2-second timers, it definitely will slow you down. I'm all about efficiency, so using the remote really helps when it wants to work properly. Straight on shot. And if you even want to shutter it faster, you'd switch it to manual focus, but you have to be pretty confident. All right, backyard shots. Here, you get on this side. All right. All right, guys, now we finished shooting this four-plex. Just make sure before you leave that you put the property back in the condition in which you found it. If you move things around like we did, paint cans, we made sure to move them back into where we found them. Obviously, it's a great customer experience as if you leave the property in the manner in which you found it. Unless you help clean up like that hose in the backyard, we're gonna leave it like that, but shifting things around in the interior, definitely, if the painter comes back and they need to finish something, you want them to be able to know where their paint cans are. So anyways, if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to reach out. We'll see you guys on the next one.